Don in Mississippi. Don, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How may we help you, my friend?
Well, I'm dealing with an issue. I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners will frown upon it right now, but I'm one of the individuals that's actually trying to prevent from cheating on my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's there's quite an age difference, but we've been married for about 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and his career kind of stands in the way of us getting closer and everything else. So
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you say age
I guess
difference,
I'm just
since
trying to get
since you
help.
brought up age difference, I have to ask, how much age difference?
Well, he's 44 and I'm 28.
Okay. All right. And his career consumes a lot. That's what you just said.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you say how do you prevent yourself from cheating, does that mean that there's somebody out there you want to cheat with?
Unfortunately,
Okay. So you
yes.
you have started developing a relationship, or at least to some degree, developed a relationship with another man, right? Or another woman, which is it?
It's actually another man, but it's
Okay.
actually a friend that I've already had before we met. So
Mm-hmm.
we have never this friend we've never crossed boundaries or lines or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at least not yet.
Okay. And what do your beliefs and values tell you that you should do?
Um, Definitely biblically. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on air. I'm very strict and stringent on this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course not to. Because if you go back to biblical times, it was just, if the woman cheated, she was just done away with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess looking at reality, me still being in my 20s, he's gone
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm hearing, Don. Here's what I'm hearing. Your beliefs and values say, don't do this. Your emotions are saying, do this. And you're finding some rationalization for doing this in the fact that your husband's not there and not giving you what you need. Am I interpreting that
Right.
correctly? Okay.
Yes.
All right. We're not going to sit in judgment on you, my friend. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you would actually call and talk to us about this because based on the fact you referred to the Bible, I'm assuming that you're a Christian. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that really matters to you. It's not just something you do because it's socially acceptable, that it really is part of who you are.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're going to prevent yourself from sleeping with this guy, what do you think the answer is?
I guess it's like stop conversating with him, I guess, which we've done it. Honestly, we've stopped conversating for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
that's possibly why I haven't done it already.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we live like 7 hours away, it's not a problem for either one of us to get to one another at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess, it's just more so of like so much time
Mm-hmm.
I have by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mhm.
Which is that's a big deal. I understand that. Okay, first of all, let me tell you, I admire the fact that you have stopped talking to each other on occasion. That tells me a lot about who you are inside. And so I admire that. I respect that. But at the same time, you're a woman with some very strong needs right now, and you're already looking at the rationalization. You're already trying to figure out inside of you, how can you rationalize doing something that you believe is wrong? And and that's human. That's very human. It doesn't make you evil. It makes you human. And so there are actually two things here that if you're going to prevent this, if you're going to stop it, there are two things that have to occur. One is you really need to break off all contact with this gentleman. And I know that's going to be tough because he's fulfilling certain things within you. And the other is you're going to have a conversation with your husband. Now, this conversation doesn't necessarily mean you're going to tell him about the other guy. That may not be a smart thing to do. We'd have to ask more questions to help you
actually,
understand that.
we've had a conversation.
Mm.
He knows. Um,
And how did he react?
of course, definitely not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's trying to he's trying to do or spend more time, but there's no way he possibly can with his career. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally today, before I got on and saw you all about to go live, he was home
Mm-hmm.
and work called, and now he's gone.
Okay. So in these conversations you're having, have you had a conversation about, okay, I need you to be with me. You're going to have to make some decisions about what's more important to you. Have you had those conversations?
Yes, and of course, the answer was he loved his career.
And so he would choose his career over you?
Pretty much.
That's a pretty bad situation. Kimberly, how would you respond to that?
How would I respond to that?
If you were the wife
If I was
and your husband said, I'm going to choose my career over you, how would you respond to that?
I would do everything marriage helper tells us not to do. I would have words. I mean, there would be a lot of loud words. I don't know how you change that situation. If there's something you need and there's no other way for compromise, then I don't know how you change that, because you can't change him. You can't change what he's going to do, but I would probably, I mean, there would have to be some, you're catching me off guard. I'm feeling all the feelings.
Okay, let me put it this way then. Kimberly early in the program talked about stops, safeguards that offer protection.
Right.
We also have a thing that's not a stop, it's called a core.
Right.
A core is a continuing a relationship essential. And that's like not, this is something that you need to stop. When you do that, it's something that you have to do. And so when you do a core, it's like continuing a relationship essential. You say, if we're going to continue this relationship, if we're going to continue this marriage, then this is something that has to occur. Now, if you're going to do that, don't make it something that's impossible the other person can't do.
Right.
And you can make it actually in layers. Now, you said you're in your 20s, he's 44 or something like that, I think you said. And so it can be like this. If we're going to continue this, if we're going to stay in this marriage, here's an essential. I have to have more of your time. Now, we may have to make this a tiered response so that now I need you to do this much more for me. But as we continue, then I'm going to need you to do this much more for me. Now, don't be narcissistic about it. And I even have to use that word. Don't be selfish about it where you make it impossible, where you can't do it. But you together can come up with a plan. You can actually make a plan where that you can move this into what you need. And if he refuses to do that, if he says, no, I'm just done with you, you do whatever the heck you want to do, I'm going to go off and follow my career, then that puts you in a situation where that is going to be pretty tough to continue. Now understand, we are not pro-divorce. We do everything we can to try to help save marriages. I would hope that you would convince him, hey, if I'm important enough to you, if you love me enough, then we need to go over there to Nashville and we need to be part of this 3-day workshop with Dr. Beam and his group. If you won't do that, then I would suggest that you seriously consider working with one of our coaches who can help you think these things through. And you can call our number that we'll put on the screen here in a second, and I'll mention it before we go off the air, and you can actually interact with our coaches who can help you think these things through. But a continuing a relationship essential is just as important as a stop. The safeguard that offers protection, this is something you have to stop doing. The cores are just as important if you're not being unrealistic, if you're not being selfish. And when you're saying, look, I have needs, and these are not unrealistic needs. I'm not being some kind of a prima donna here. I'm saying I'm just a normal 20-something-year-old female that needs a husband, and I have certain relationships that are required. Now, since you're biblical, and I won't tell you where this is, you'll have to find it on your own. Let's see if you'll actually get into your Bible. There's a passage in the Old Testament that talks about that if a man, now remember in the Old Testament, they could have more than one wife. Okay, that if a man got a woman as his wife, took her as his wife, and then he marries another woman, if he does not fulfill the first woman, and it talks about 3 particular areas having to do with food, but one of those 3 areas was sex. Now that has to do with the fact of intimacy, not just sexual fulfillment, but intimacy, because sex is much more than just 2 bodies. It's about 2 minds, 2 hearts, 2 souls. And it actually said that if he did not give her food, clothing, and intimate fulfillment, sexual fulfillment, which, and I'm not talking just about sex here, but that's part of what's going on with you. That's why you're tempted to be with this other man, that she actually could leave him, be free, not be married to him anymore. Now, I'm not trying to get you to divorce your husband. I'm not trying to get you to leave him. I'm pointing out that even in the religion of Christianity, if you follow the Old Testament as well, if you look at the passages there, this is an important thing even in your religion. And to tell him, okay, you can look that verse up. You find it on your own. If you look at that, then you can say to him, this has got to happen. This is a core. It's not something I'm being selfish about. I'm not a prima donna. I have a right to this. I need your attention. I need you to be here. I'm not asking you to end your career. I'm not asking you to make me everything in all areas in your life, but I'm saying I have certain needs and that you really owe me that as part of the marriage contract.